Alright, today I'm going to ask you a set of questions regarding the school's problems with English and some other problems.
Okay.
So firstly, I want to know your age, grade, and country.
I'm 25, I'm a sophomore, and I'm from America.
Okay, let's start off. Firstly, is Chinese a language of choice for the school administration process? If yes or no, why?
So far, I feel like yes, Chinese is the language of choice. At times, there'll be bits in English, but for the most part, everything's handled in Chinese.
Okay. Next, have you ever had the difficulty of finding an interpreter to translate your problems? For example, like dorm problems, school fees, or some other school-related problems?
Luckily, in my case, no, because my girlfriend is Taiwanese, and she's almost always with me, so she can translate. But I feel like for other students that don't have that luxury, then there would be lots of problems.
Do you believe that the school should provide an interpreter to actually help those students? Not like, for example, some students find friends to help their problems, but then it's difficult sometimes because the friends have other things to do.
Right. I feel like the university should provide an interpreter, or at least ensure their staff can competently communicate in English.
Have you ever had the trouble to join student clubs because of Chinese?
Yes, and to a certain extent, maybe trouble to join just because the Chinese-speaking students are afraid to speak English, and my lack of Chinese ability.
So you think just because you lack in the Chinese ability, it's a problem for you to join a group? Does that even make sense to you?
Yeah. In my case, for example, the group doesn't want to speak English. I can't speak Chinese, so it's shy on both parts to join the group, I guess.
Do you have issues with the emails typed in Chinese? What's your opinion on that?
I just delete them immediately.
Just delete them all.
Yeah, I mean, I get them 15 or 20 a day, so I just delete them as soon as I...
What if there's an important message in there? You never know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all in Chinese.
Oh, then I'm screwed.
Have you ever had problems ordering food or drinks on the campus?
Again, I'm usually with my girlfriend,
Okay,
so
so
no problem.
no
But
problem.
I feel like, again, if someone doesn't have that luxury, then they could end up with the wrong order.
What's your experience with the in-class group discussions? Are the students speaking to each other in English?
No. They're primarily only speaking Chinese to each other, and then in terms of discussion, there isn't any.
So is it hard for you to join groups?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite difficult.
And then, for example, even if you join, if you join a group, is it usually filled with foreign students, or is it usually filled with Taiwanese students, and why?
So far, usually with foreign students, just because they're more comfortable in English.
Okay.
And I feel like the Taiwanese students are kind of cliquey, so they instantly form their groups and avoid the foreign students.
Okay. Do the teachers use other languages besides English to teach?
In a couple instances, I've had professors go into Chinese to maybe explain a complicated topic, but they haven't used a whole lot of it in the classroom.
Okay. So the teacher's accent's a problem for you?
In one case, the accent isn't the problem, but his English is a problem. So I can understand his accent perfectly fine, but his English is rather poor. So I think at times he'll use improper words and things like that.
So what's your opinion on that? Like, what should be done to fix that? This is quite a big problem.
I think it's a
in
huge
the
problem,
university,
yeah,
especially. And it's an international college, so like the teachers can't really teach in English.
I think it's a huge problem just because I'm a native speaker and I have difficulty understanding, so I can only imagine non-native speakers trying to figure out what he's talking about.
Okay.
So that's a huge problem, and to address that problem, I feel like he needs to be sat down with higher ups, the administration, and it to be addressed.
Okay, since you've mentioned that you're a native speaker, do you believe that it takes quite a while for the teachers to understand your English?
For my native-speaking professors, no, of course not. For that professor in particular, there's been times when I've answered and he's had no idea what I said.
Exactly. All right. Lastly, what's the biggest problem for you about the school?
I feel like there's not a whole lot of opportunity for foreign students to integrate with the Taiwanese students. I feel like everything is kind of held in the classrooms, and group discussion is encouraged, but mixing with the foreign students is not required. And I think it just creates small groups among the students and not a whole lot of interaction. I think it feels a lot like high school rather than a university setting, so I feel like...
So on a scale to 1 to 10, how serious is the language problem in Asia?
maybe an 8.
Okay.
I feel like it's a pretty big problem.
All right. Thanks for your time, and we'll follow up on this case and try to fix it, hopefully.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.